I'm about to say some pretty unpopular things, starting with this is not good. Also, this is not a peaceful protest. But something very disturbing is happening in the background that I think you should know about. It's time to deploy Palantir to Los Angeles to deal with the illegals. You know you love to see it. You're lying if you say you wouldn't. This is the grand plan. Okay, it's not an accident that cars are burning on the streets and people are waving foreign flags on the streets. There is something they're trying to manufacture consent for. Remember, when they justified the passing of the Patriot Act over 20 years ago, they told us we needed all this extra power to go after the bad guys, to get rid of the terrorists. But almost immediately, the government started to use that extra power they were given to spy on ordinary Americans, right? How can you be so sure that you will not be deemed an enemy of the state one day? There's absolutely no guarantee that this master database won't be weaponized against you. And to be perfectly honest, history tells us that the likelihood is pretty high that it will be used against you one day. So to quote RFK Jr., 1, any power that the government takes from the people, it will never return voluntarily. 2, every power that the government takes, it will ultimately be abused to the maximum extent possible. 3, nobody ever complied their way out of totalitarianism. The only thing we can do is resist.
Shalom. First off, I want to start up by saying all praises, honor, and glory is due unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem HaKadosh. All praises to the world calls God, whose true name in Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem meaning in the name, and Yahushai being the name of the only begotten Son. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, preaching his word in truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Tazabah, the Great Millstone, Arizona camp, with another video, Lord willing, edify. So let's just
be careful out there.
Delve into this.
The government's turning on the deploy power.
Let's delve into this and really pick this apart now. You know, our elders and apostles have taught us the concept of order out of chaos, right? Let me get right the term ordo ab chaos, which translates to order out of chaos, is a Latin phrase with strong presence in the Freemasonry, particularly in the 33rd degree. It is often depicted on Masonic flags, seals, and regalia. The phrase signifies the process of bringing order from a state of disorder, which is a core concept of Freemasonry and the Scottish Rite. Right? Our elders and apostles taught us these things, and us understanding that Esau is an opportunistic people. Right? They're like foxes in the desert. The scriptures compare them to snakes. Snakes are opportunistic. Right? A lot of time, a snake barely even fucking moves, and it just waits for the prey to come into his vicinity. So that's Esau in his time. Now this Palantir research, I looked it up. I wanted to do a little bit of research, right? That word Palantir, when you look it up in the etymology, it says Palantir, and J.R.R. Tolkien's Legendarium is a form of Quenya language. It's a compound word meaning far-seer, or he who looks far. Specifically, it combines palin, meaning far, or far and wide, and tir, meaning to watch over or to look. Right? The word palantir was used to describe the powerful stones that allowed users to see and communicate across vast distances. Right? So that word palantir literally means they want to see like the Most High, like the scriptures say, that the eyes of the Lord get this. This is Ecclesiasticus 23:19. It says, "Such a man only fears the eyes of men, and knowing not that the eyes of Yahweh are 10 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts." And that's what Esau is trying to develop the power to do. And he has this technology because it was given into his hand, because this is the one that the Lord gave him power to move in this fashion. This is 2 Esdras 11:40. It says, "And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past," talking about the 3 prior kingdoms. That fourth beast being the Roman Empire, right? It says, "And had power over the world with great fearfulness," right? And it came into the perfection to have power over the world, over an entire compass of the world in this time, because this is the revised Roman Empire we're dealing with now, but this is actually talking about the Roman Empire. "With great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression, and so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit." And that's Esau, Edom. And in this time, he's doing it to the 10th degree. When you give a toddler all-out power, right? It's terrifying. And that's what this devil is, man. The scriptures talk about he that is younger than I, right? He that is younger. Let me get it real quick because I don't want to misquote it. It's in Job. Job 30:1, it says, "But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock." And Esau is that one that is younger than us, because his civilization is younger than everybody's in the earth, man. He was the last person to build anything up. Remember, the scriptures tell you he was in the wilderness as beast brain, right? He was just being a knuckle dragging caveman. He really didn't have any ability to actually rise up and create anything until the Lord put him in that position, right? When he got into the Greco-Roman Empire, that's through Alexander the Great. That's when his society started getting built up. The Lord had him as the basis of man for the longest time, right? So he's a child in everything, man. And this devil is creating things to have power over everything. So like, I got a story from when I was a kid, right? And it's fucked up, but it's just a true story. My sister, she's 1 year older than me, a year younger than my brother, but this nigga is just fucking through. But when we was kids, I don't know what the fuck my mom was thinking, but it is what it is. My mom used to like punish us by sitting there saying, fly on a wall, meaning you lift up one leg, you put your arms all the way out to the side, you got to stand there for however long she wants. And my mom gave her the belt one time and told her if they put their leg down, you got my permission to whoop him. This nigga didn't wait for her leg to hit the floor. She just went on ham. Right? That's Esau. Now you putting a technology like this in his hand where he becomes the far seer, right? He who looks far, he's going to be looking at everything. And that's when you go to the technology and how it works, you get to see it. He wants to be like the Most High. He wants to have the eyes that are 10 times brighter than the sun. He wants to look to and fro on the earth. Let me get this. This is Proverbs 15:3 says, the eyes of Yahweh are in every place, beholding the good and the evil. And that's how Esau wants to roll. And that's why he came up with the technology. Right? Now let me play this.
I'm sure you've heard of this company by now, but what do they do specifically?
Our enemies. We built this.
And this is a disclaimer. This is for educational purposes, right? We don't make any money off these videos under the fair use. This is just reporting on information and news and grabbing the scriptures to compare it to. This is fair use. Fair use. Right?
We believe America's a great country and our enemies should suffer.
Okay, there's that, but here's what they also do and why it matters. Palantir software connects everything from surveillance footage, social media, phone records, and even border crossings. It uses that data to find patterns, helping governments find out who to target and when to strike. Basically, they give governments God mode. But here's why you should care.
See? You see, that's what they doing, man. You seen that anime Death Note? This is what Esau's created. The technology to have Death Note. Now, when he ties in that MOTB, that implantable C-hip, with this technology, bro, there's a reason why the scriptures say, right, that the Lord would have to speed up the times, at least there's no flesh to be saved, man.
Palantir isn't bound by the same rules as the NSA. They don't need warrants or oversight, and it's exactly why governments love them. Your digital life, what you say, where you go, who you talk to, can be used to make life and death decisions. And you will never know. Because
you see? Life and why? Because they'll literally sit here and use the technology, right? Put together your identity on the web, put together all your contacts, and wait for that day where you all come together to either drop a bomb on you or just take you out yourself. This is Psalm 64 and 1. It says, hear my voice, O power. In my prayer, preserve my life and fear the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. The dude said it. You would never know that they're putting this together, but they're piecing it all together. They already have files on us. But to the extent that they're able to actually fucking coordinate everything on bros, bro, who knows? Maybe they're already using it, but maybe they're not. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. Right? This is a way to where they don't even have to worry about direct combat. They just let you do whatever you want, and they triangulate your position and take your ass out. It says they encourage themselves in the evil matter. They communicate and snares privily. They say, who seeth them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep.
life and death decisions. And you will never know, because now it's being used for everything. To predict crime in American cities by flagging certain zip codes as high risk, to monitor immigrants that are illegally crossing the border, and now increasingly even tracking political protests. In a way, our basic freedoms can now be a security threat.
I don't think in win-lose. I think in domination.
Because their duty isn't to the public, it's to profit for the shareholders and making their clients happy. Here's the most disturbing part though. For every Palantir that you've heard, there's dozens more that you've never heard about, and you probably never will. One of this is an Israeli spy company run by ex-Mossad agents, and their most famous client, Harvey Weinstein. I broke down their entire story in my video on private spies, so click
See, I might have to watch that too.
here
But
to
you
watch
see it. You see it, that and there's a bunch of these companies vying for the top spot so they can use this. So, and now because these protests, right? People waving flags and everything like that from different countries on U.S. soil, it's giving Esau every reason to come down with that great wrath. And we're seeing that he's going to be pushing himself up in that Godhead. He wants to put himself and place himself above the Most High, and this is his step towards doing it. This is Ezekiel 28 and 2. It says, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, for thus saith Yahweh, thus saith Yahweh power, because thine heart is lifted up. And thou hast said, I am a God. And this is him saying he's a God. This is his God mode. To know everything. He wants to be like the Most High, man. Hey, let me get this real quick. Second Thessalonians 2 and 4 says, who opposed it and exalted himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped. He's making his exaltation. He's saying his AI is more intelligent. They no longer need humans. AI is smarter. Right? They're even trying to sit here and fuse brain cells into computer chips. Right? Because they've noticed that brain cells are able to sit here, just the cells of the brain are able to sit here and process information without being directed. So they're literally coming up with technology on that. Let me find that video, man.
Breakthrough in the future of computing. That pink liquid, it's full of living human brain cells. And here's the crazy part. Scientists are combining those brain cells with traditional silicon to build computers that are alive. It's pretty wild. Now, this is a brand new industry of technology called biocomputing. These are real human neurons that can actually think and learn for themselves. Now, if you're like me, you're probably wondering one thing. Why are they doing this? It feels a bit much to be growing human brains just to put them into computers. Well, listen to this. It turns out human brain cells have extremely rare abilities to process things without being trained. Normal computers have to be taught to solve problems. It's why AI models take so much energy and training data to build. But as soon as you add brain cells to a computer chip, they don't really need as much training. They kind of start figuring out what to do on their own, just like a human would. Now, because of this, these biocomputers are super efficient. A regular supercomputer might use 40 million watts of power to solve a complex task. The human brain can do it in just 20. That's 2 million times more efficient. And this means these biocomputers could become the secret weapon to solving humanity's hardest computational challenges. But there is just one massive problem. Brain cells tend to die when their temperature deviates from 98.6 degrees, and computers generate a ton of heat. So we have this wild situation where living computers could be the solve for everything, but it's almost impossible to keep the brain part alive. Today,
see? And he's trying to change what is. He's trying to get his birthright by carnal digital means. Right? He says in his mind it's worth it to fuse man with machine, slap a label on it, and tell the people to shut the fuck up and sit down. That's his mindset. He's willing to change what the Lord created and integrate things that shouldn't be integrated in order for him to keep control. Everything is about this devil trying to keep control. Right? 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4, who opposed it and exalted himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is power. And that's what he's doing, man. If he can sit here and do all these extraordinary computations, using what the Lord already created, where is he getting the brain cells? Where is he getting the silicone and all the gold and the silver for the processors, the aluminum, all those things? Where is he getting these components? It's all from the Lord's creation, but he's still going to exalt himself above the Heavenly Father through it all. This is back in Ezekiel 28 and 2. It says, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus say Yahweh, power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, and I sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the seas, right? Yet thou art a man, and not God. Therefore thou shalt set thine heart. It says, yet thou art a man and not God, though thou set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. And this devil really believes that he is a God, man. Right? What did Trump say? He said, somebody had to do it, and I am the chosen one. Right? These devils really believe that they're just these divine beings that could fuck with creation. But what you're seeing is this whole immigration thing, stoking the fire, putting out all these protests, people in these protests that ain't really even protesting. They're just set up to go there and set certain things up. There's even videos where they show police destroying their own car. The protesters didn't even touch the car. They destroyed the car window, breaking it down with a brick. They're not even worried about. They're literally just using it as a means to move in military, to usher in all the surveillance technology, and have a reason to set these things in order so they don't have to pull back on them. Right? Just like the Lord is bound by certain things, he's bound by his word. These devils are bound by their law, their legal system. Wisdom of Solomon in the 2nd chapter tells you, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Their law, their strength is the law of justice, so they bend it to keep themselves strong. And this is what you're seeing. Right? This surveillance state is about to be crazy, and they're moving at neck break speeds, man. Our salvation is way nearer than when we would believe. We don't know the extent to which this stuff is going on, but hey, it's a good show. He's setting his eyes on Jake. Scriptures talk about this is Psalm 17:11. It says, they have now compassed us in our steps. They have set their eyes bowing down to the earth, like as a lion that is greedy of his prey, and as a war, a young lion lurking in secret. And that's what you're seeing. All this is him bearing down and crouching down to the moment that he can actually pounce, just like a lion. You watch those shows, right? The documentaries with the lions hunting. What do? They crouch. They slowly step up, freeze, slowly step up. And over the last couple of years, it's just been a slowly step up. And now they're getting closer and closer, and they're ready to do their thing. Arise, O Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy soul. And that's that's the prayer bros need to pray for one another, to deliver our souls from the wicked, from men which are thy hand, O Yahweh, from men of the world, which have their portion in this life. And that's Esau Edom. He's been given the fatness of the earth. His portion is in this life, but in the kingdom of heaven, he's going right into captivity under the Israelites, along with the rest of the heathen. It says, and whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure, they are full of children, and lead the rest of their substance unto their babes, substance to their babes. Right? Meaning what? They live their life in excess, and then their kids just get an early start because they've given them everything. But we see in this devil, everything's looking like he's like it said right there. It says, in their eyes bowing down to the earth, like as a lion greedy of the prey. We see it all happening. Shalom.